Varsity Sports Nations welcomes you to Merrill Park in Altamont Springs for the Florida 2025 Cure All-Star Softball Game. And we started with a field of 4 with teams from Orange, Lake, Osceola, and Seminole County. And we're now under action in the championship game between Lake and Seminole counties. Jared Oliver alongside Conrad Volsch on the call as well. And we are underway. Conrad, championship game, 2 powerhouse programs or 2 powerhouse counties going against each other, Seminole and Lake. What are some of the things you're expecting in a high-intensity game like softball?
Well, I think if one thing's for certain, we're either going to see a whole lot of runs or, depending on how the pitching matches up, we might see not so many runs. But we saw a lot in the game. Seminole versus Orange we were getting set up that ended 10-5. Unfortunately, with the time constraint, the Orange County could not quite complete the rally, but we saw definitely Lake and Seminole has had some luck with their bats tonight. So we'll see if that carries over, but that's usually what you see with powerhouses, either really good pitching or really good hitting.
So if you're watching this, you're probably going to realize that both teams are wearing white. Conrad, you want to provide some clarification on how to identify both teams?
Absolutely. So Lake County is the away team on the scoreboard. If you happen to notice, their white jerseys have more of like a splatter on it. That's not on accident or a manufacturing error. That's just the style of the jersey. So they're going to have more like splatter marks on their jerseys, and then the home team, Seminole County, is just going to be regular white jerseys that are white. So
yep.
That's just how it worked out, and that's what we got.
Yep, so once again, Lake and Seminole County on the diamond right now. Up to bat, looks like, trying to get a jersey number there. Looks like number 19. That's going to be Lillian Land out of East Ridge. And it's going to be a 2-1 count. Still in the first frame with 1 down.
East Ridge had a decent season, finishing 22-6.
And she puts that one in play to get a base hit. First one of the night. And for her senior year, she batted .494, Conrad. Pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's to have just under a 500 batting average for an entire season, no matter what sport, is a huge deal. It looks like we've got a courtesy runner coming in, and that's going to be number 15 of Danica Spinagati, who just was up and had that ground out.
Looks like that's number 12, actually.
No, I meant for who's courtesy running.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Because typically in the sport of softball,
I got you.
The catchers usually have an automatic courtesy runner.
Good call on that, Conrad.
Of course.
So with 1 on base, Layla Suzaya from Montverde Academy in the box. Her senior year batted .443, 35 hits as well, along with 22 RBIs. Really impressive season for that club this year. Finished 27-3 overall. Had an early exit in the 2A state playoffs, though.
That's another thing. A lot of these schools that are coming in that are being represented in these All-Star games have had just that, teams that have won 20-plus games throughout their seasons and have made it into the state tournament for their respective league, whether they're 7A, 2A, 4A, whichever. And, you love to see an all-star game like this because it's the best of the best playing each other for one final time in high school.
So Seminole in the first game beat Orange County, and Lake County beat Osceola. Both won by a large margin. So, it speaks to the level of talent on both teams. All right, so that's going to be Suzaya taking the base after a ball 4. So 2 on base here with 1 out away.
And that'll move Spinagati into scoring position for this Lake County squad. And for Lake County, I think to give yourselves a chance, get on the board first and start to just take control of the momentum early and often in this game.
Here's Miranda Murch, also from Montverde Academy. Batting just .237 for the year. She did come into the season, or finished her senior year, with 18 hits and 17 RBIs. Also 5 home runs.
Yeah, it answers to this age-old saying, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish, and that applies to seasons or series or anything like that.
So Murch flies out. So 2 outs down and still 2 on base here for Lake County. So coming up now is going to be number 6, Jasmine Lawrence out of Tavares High School.
Yeah, she's the only representative here from Tavares. They went 13-9 this year. They reside in 4A, more specifically 4A District 5. Lost 10-0 to Egali in the state playoffs.
She takes strike 1 there. Two on base for Lake. And Lawrence swings for strike 2.
And on the defensive side for Seminole, it's going to come down to, you allow a couple batters to reach base. How are you gonna work yourself out of it, or how are you gonna respond to a little bit of adversity like that?
All right, and that's going to be strike. Let's see what the call is. The ump.
I think it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think that's what our scoreboard says.
Yeah. I thought that last pitch was 1-2. Not sure. All right, so we'll reset. 2 outs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Big swing, and that's going to be a quick out on a line drive, and that'll do it for Lake County in the first frame. No run still here at Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volsch on the call. We'll take a break here. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volsch on the call. This is the exclusive coverage for the 2025 Cure All-Star Softball Game. The cool thing about softball is the intensity, the energy, and we've seen that already, here with the first games of the day between Seminole and Orange and Lake and Osceola. And it's just a fun game, and obviously this game and this event is always to just bring awareness and to honor those who are fighting breast cancer or just cancer overall, and those who have lost their lives. And it's always a great event to be a part of, Conrad.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I've talked to people, I've talked to family members, and it's typically the only disease that is out there where it's very hard to find one person who hasn't been affected by it, whether it's personally or know people that have either gone through it or unfortunately have passed away from it. And I think when you can bring some people together to fight for a good cause, such as fighting the cure for cancer, and you can play a sport to bring awareness as well. I said this on a previous broadcast with you, Jared. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's bringing awareness to something that still needs to be have some awareness, and it's sport. And so I think those 2 things make it great.
Kayla Morris, first pitch is going to be a base hit. Great start there for Seminole County. Kayla Morris out of Lake Brantley, batting .344 for the season, certainly puts that on display there. And Miranda Murch in the circle for Lake County out of Montverde.
Well, we saw that Lake County was able to get a couple girls on base, but were not able to cash in home. And, I mean, a first pitch swing to get yourself a base hit to start is huge if you're Seminole.
And Ava Campanelli puts this one in play, so she's got to base it. And a runner goes to third. So how about this? Seminole in scoring position in this first frame for them.
Yeah, Seminole, when they went against Orange County, they scored 4 runs in that opening inning, and coach and the team was very pumped up about that. So we'll see if that continues here in the first inning of this game.
So runners on the corners, Bella Rosales out of Lake Brantley High School in the box, an Eastern Florida commit. And take strike one, and a stolen base at second. So now we've got runners on second and third. Good base running there by Campanelli out of Lyman High School.
That was close. They were trying to catch the runner, maybe pick her off at third, but as we could see by the umpire standing down at third, the resounding safe was shown there. So Seminole not afraid right now to try and get somebody home here.
Chops one near third. Throw is in time, but off the mark. So a runner's going to come home, and a second one on the way. So just like that, Seminole County up 2-0 here in the bottom of the first.
Well, and that comes down to, that comes down to teams who's going to make the fewest amount of mistakes here. And I think, it's just going to take a minute for these teams to stay used to each other here, because a lot of these girls have not played with each other before, at least on the same team, and that's Seminole County taking advantage of a mistake there, and it turned into what could have been just a regular routine out at first turned into a 2-run RBI double.
So here's Alexis Williamson from Haggerty High School, batting .481, 45 runs and 51 hits for her senior year, as she big swing there for strike. We don't know the strike count. The scoreboard is wrong. I think it's strike 2.
And they're going to say she did not go on that pitch, so It's going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So a 1-2 count, runner on second. Seminole up 2-0 here in the bottom frame of the first. And hits one hard to the shortstop, throw in time. But a runner is at third, so that'll be Bella Rosales 60 feet away.
And you get the out at first, but most importantly, if you're Seminole, you inch somebody just a little bit closer to third. And Seminole looks like they have not let their foot off the gas at all, because they scored those 10 runs in the earlier game against Orange, but that first inning, they got started hard in that first game, and looks like they're doing it again.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's Rihanna Hudson from Lake Howell High School. Great pitcher as well. 10 wins this season on the mound, 134 strikeouts, also 7 home runs. She takes ball there.
Yeah, Lake Howell's got another one of those teams that's got a good showing, a lot of players represented here in this All-Star game, and made it in the state tournament as well. So most of these teams represented by these players were in the state tournament.
Pops that one up in shallow center, and that one nearly caught, but I think that's going to hit the ground, and that won't be an out. Good effort there by Marissa Weaver. So still just 1 out.
That puts runners at the corners here for Seminole County, it looks like.
And here's Addison Martindale now up to bat. As you mentioned, Lake Brantley. And it looks like we're going to have a meeting here in the circle for the first time tonight. So Seminole, as you mentioned, in the first game, 10 runs. Orange County fought back. These games, the first games were timed, but Seminole County ended up winning 10-5. So, the bats are working for them. You know, they're seeing the ball well, and you know we're seeing that in this championship game as well.
Well, yeah, and I think for Seminole County, you got to give credit to those first 2 innings. I mean, they scored 4 in the first and 3 in the second, and to be the other team and you know, because it's one thing to get hit with 4 runs in the first inning and be like, okay, the easy answer is, you know, keep them from scoring more and try and figure it out. But then to have that followed up with 3 more and be down 7-0 after 2, that can be a hard thing to come back from.
So here's Martindale, tries to bunt one, and third base's runner is going to be jammed up here. She's going to be tagged out, another runner to third. So what's the call going to be here? I think Kayla Morris is going to be called out.
So the runner that was running back to third, I think they're going to call her out, and then the one that slid into third is going to be safe. I think that's what they're going to call.
So it looks like it's going to be Bella Rosales is going to be tagged out. Yeah. Kayla Morris will be safe at third, so that'll make it 2 outs down. And up to bat, it's going to be Catherine Conway from Lake Brantley High School again.
Yeah, and that's huge if you're Lake County. You prevent any more runs from getting scored, and you know that can be if you're Lake County, the main focus is just settle down and just kind of stop the bleeding here in the first inning.
Catherine Conway batting .333 her senior year. Great season for Lake Brantley. 25-4 record. They lost to Haggerty in the 7A region finals. And that one downstairs, no swing, good eye there by Conway.
And Conway looking to do the slap hitter approach there. As you see, she kind of stepped up a little bit before swinging and decided to hang back on that one. Wise decision there.
So Conway ahead in the count. And takes strike one. Two-one pitch. And that's strike two.
Yeah, still trying that slap hitter approach. We've seen her kind of move up in the box there and sometimes hung back. So we'll see what she ultimately decides.
2-2 pitch. Gets contact. Great awareness in the circle there. How about that? What a play made by Miranda Murch to close out the frame. So Seminole County puts 2 on the board as we get set for the top of the second. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation from Merrill Park in Altamont Springs, Florida. Welcome back to Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volsch on the call. Seminole up 2-0 as they put 2 runs on in the bottom of the first. And now here comes Lake back in the box, getting set still as number 11 for Seminoles in the circle. Rihanna Hudson out of Lake Howell High School. As we mentioned before the last break, 10 wins on the mound this season, 134 strikeouts, and that's a lot.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and I think that's someone who you want to have in your circle for you, and I think getting that many wins in a season in high school speaks a lot to how much the coaches trust her and her skill set and what she brings to the table, and I think It got a little ugly early in the top of the first inning as Seminole was trying to figure out Lake County just a little bit. But once she settled down, I mean, Lake County, granted, it's only been one full inning now. They have not gotten a runner past second base. So between her pitching and how the defense kind of responded there in the infield and outfield, that's just a testament to everybody else and her helping put her team in positions to be successful tonight.
So here's Soraya Espada out of East Ridge High School, and she's also a pretty impressive pitcher. 17 wins on the mound, 79 total strikeouts. I'm sure we'll see her at some point tonight. And she takes strike one.
Well, it's really cool when you look at the sport of softball because with baseball they've got the risen mounds, but with softball you're looking straight at your batter. You're not looking downwards. You have to throw it pretty accurately.
Espada is going to get a base hit there off the error there. Looks like number 10 there for Seminole. Lexi Bedowich couldn't make the play at shortstop. I think that may be the first error we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I saw a couple errant throws in that last inning, but that's probably the first pure fielding error we've seen. Just kind of might have just been one of those weird things. You took your eye off the ball for just 1 second, it got away from you.
Up to bat now is Marissa Weaver out of South Lake High School, batting just 200 for her senior year. She did collect 12 hits, though.
In South Lake, they didn't have like the sexiest win-loss record, finished 14-13, but still were able to make their way into the 6A state playoffs. So good on them.
And she takes strike one.
Looks like we got a courtesy runner coming in for.
Yeah, that'll be Jasmine Lawrence.
That'll be a pinch runner, excuse me.
So Jasmine Lawrence out of Tavares.
It'll be tipped foul there.
I got to say, we've done 2 All-Star games, 2 baseball games. We haven't seen a cell phone in this one yet, but I got to imagine it's because, in softball, the game is so fast, you don't really have the time to, to have too much fun out there. But it's early, you never know. Big swing there for strike 3. Good pitching in the circle there for Brianna Hudson.
I think what we saw in those 2 baseball games were, I'd say, probably are a little bit more special circumstances for that. But yeah, I don't think we'll see a cell phone in this game.
Great reaction there. Line drive near first, tags first base for the final out. Heads up play. So we still at 2-0 as we get set for the bottom of the second. We are Varsity Sports Nation at Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volch. We'll take a quick break and be right back. 2-0 here in the bottom of the second as Seminole is back up to bat. Lexi Beldowich out of Haggerty in the box. Miranda Mert still in the circle for Lake County. Welcoming you back to Merrill Park here in Altamont Springs, Florida. And we've had great weather all day. I think we'll be okay tonight. I didn't see any rain in the forecast, but you can never say never in the state of Florida.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think the biggest things that have been, wow, what a catch over down by third there. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, what a great play. Easy
Wow.
out there for Lake County. That play's made by number 6, Jasmine Lawrence.
She just didn't want to hear us talking about the weather.
Yeah,
That's
she
all that
snagged
was.
that one out the air.
But no, when it comes to weather, I think the thing that I have to get used to, and I've only really seen it when I've driven down towards Melbourne Beach, is sometimes on that stretch of highway, you'll get like one little section of highway that's like 2 miles long that's just pouring rain, but every other section before it and after it is completely dry. It's so weird.
Anna Roman at the plate out of Haggerty High School, batting average .471 for her senior year. Had 9 home runs this season, which was top 10 in the state of Florida. Fouls that one away. Right into the dugout. Heads up from the dugout as well. Haggerty 24-7 record, lost to the number 1 seed Wellington in the 7A state championship game. Nonetheless, an impressive season.
And Wellington went on to win the whole thing against Haggerty. So no, can't hang your hat too low on that, because losing to the eventual state champion is I'd still call that a successful season no matter what.
So Roman swings at a wild pitch for strike 2. One-two pitch. That one just off the plate for a ball 2.
And that's another thing these pitchers are just going to have to get used to, is how big the strike zone is, and just because every umpire crew is different. So just getting used to that throughout the game, and sometimes if you can't find it, just bait the batter into trying to swing at a pitch that you're really good at, and or just throw those on paper easy pitches and rely on your defense. It's just going to be one of those things. But I think for Seminole County, they have done a very good job thus far of keeping this Lake County team in check, and Lake County is just trying to figure out how to get the offense going. I mean, they looked like they had a good start in that first inning, but ever since that top of the first, they got a girl as far as second, but they just have not been able to get past second base yet.
So one thing we already know about both of these teams, they can both hit. They see the ball well. Both had large margins of victory in the first game. So we'll see who stands the test of time in this championship game. So far, Seminole up. And Roman puts that one in play. Throw is in time, and looks like her first baseman dropped it, but I guess she collected it in time for – oh, no. She's safe. So another error on defense. Wow.
That's
she dropped it.
That's why I always talk about sometimes routine is anything but, and you just have to keep your head on a swivel and be ready for anything, because the simplest play, a simple collection, throw over to first, can be one of the hardest plays of the game.
So that one popped up fly for the routine out. So that is Alondra Maldonado out of Winter Springs. So she'll go back to the dugout after out number 2 for Seminole.
Good job there by Lake County to, after that first inning where Seminole was driving and got 2 on the board, they've been able to stifle Seminole here in the bottom of the second thus far.
Here's Alexis Williamson for the second time tonight at the plate. Throw to second, trying to steal third. Throw is not in time, so that'll close the frame. Good defense by Lake County, still trailing 2-0 here as they get set for the bottom of the second. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation from Merrill Park in Altamont Springs, Florida. Welcome back to Merrill Park. Leading off for Seminole County is going to be number 20. Excuse me, not Lake County is Lauren Tahoon out of Umatilla. Rihanna Hudson still in the circle out of Lake Howell High School. And big swing for strike one. So we'll see if Lake County can respond and get on the board here in the top of the third. And strike two. Good start here for Hudson.
And the defenses for both of these teams have done a really solid job since that first inning. Really the only thing that has been the biggest outlier as we're now on the top of the third is, wow, what a play down at first.
Quick play there. Yeah. Heads up play by Alondra Maladando.
We've seen some good ones. We saw one down at first, and we saw one of the half innings ended on basically an unassisted double play. We saw another catch down by – we've seen some good stuff.
And that's the thing about softball. You know, the field is condensed compared to baseball, and it's like you got to be quick. You got to have good reflexes and reaction. We've seen that so far tonight.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a hit by pitch, so she will take her base. Danica Spinogatti out of Montverde Academy. We have a conversation at first base. Not sure what it's about.
I think it might be just the umpire checking in on the batter to make sure she's okay.
So here's Lillian Land out of Eastridge up to bat. Batting .494 on the season for her senior year. And first pitch, she swings and puts it in play into right center. Throw to third is not in time, and she goes to second, and she's safe. So she picks up a double with a runner at third as well.
And that's big time for Lake County. That's the closest they've gotten to home plate. That's the closest they've gotten to home plate is third now. So starting to kind of have the bats wake up again. First time we've seen that since the first inning. So see how that momentum can carry through here. Still only one out on the board. But I like what I'm seeing from Lake County here early in this third.
So here's Layla Suzea from Montverde for her second appearance tonight in the box. Big swing, strike one. She was looking for the fence on that one.
That's another thing too. I wonder if we're going to get a home run today because we worked the 2 Cure All-Star baseball games and we didn't see a home. We almost saw a home run a couple times. But
Yeah, well, it was a home run, but they didn't call it that on the field.
I guess we could say it was a home run by technicality.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any no-doubters. Let's just say that.
Right, exactly. So Layla Suzaya, 22 RBIs her senior year. Let's see if she can get another one here in this All-Star game. Hits that one to third, throw in time, and she'll be out. 2 outs down now for Lake.
Smart play there to kind of take her time on that throw. She kind of looked back at third base there. I like that because you don't want to let a run sneak home for no reason, and the holdup was just enough to keep the runners at second and third and to get the out down at first. Big play there.
Here's Miranda Murch from Montverde Academy. Also has the pitching responsibility so far for Lake County. And she swings, strike 1. So 2 outs down, 2 runners in scoring position. It's a big opportunity here for Lake County. Let's see if they can capitalize. And hits that one, but it doesn't drop, so that'll be for the final out for the top of the third. So two runners stranded on base for Lake County, and it's still 2-0 Seminole leads. We get set for the bottom of the third coming up next. Tonight's game is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. We get set for the bottom of the third here at the 2025 Cure All-Star Softball game here at Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volch with you tonight. And so far, Seminole has taken the early advantage, put 2 runs on the board in the first. Things have sort of mellowed out so far, but, you know, with these 2 teams with so much talent on their rosters, you know, you never know how this one's going to play out.
Definitely not. And I think sometimes with a game like this where you have the best of the best coming from all across the county, sometimes it's the question not if but when. And what I mean by that is it's not if we're going to see some runs scored, but when. Obviously, sometimes it might take till the later innings for that to happen. But yeah, Jared, I mean, we saw what Seminole County is capable of in the bottom of that first inning. But ever since then, the defenses have been they've paid attention well. We've seen some great plays where the third or even the first baseman had to make a split-second decision like, oh, I got to catch this real fast. But thus far, ever since that first inning, when either team has gotten into that scoring position, whether second or third base, they have not made it home to pay dirt.
So here's Alexis Williamson for the 3rd time at bat. Out of Haggerty High School. Collected 45 runs this year, had 51 hits as well. Miranda Mertz still in the circle for Lake County. And that one hits the plate for a ball.
At 51 hits that's
a high number.
You're getting at least 1, almost 2 hits per game
Yeah.
during the season. That's impressive numbers there.
And chops one in the gap. It goes through, so that'll be good for a base hit. Good hitting there by Williamson.
Yeah, Seminole, they figured out ways to get players on base, but they just have not been able to get anybody home since those 2 runs in the first. And They looked like they were going to get 3, but Lake County did a good job of preventing the one runner to get home and then turning it into a rundown that ultimately ended at third base there.
So check that. I think that is Alexis Felker. So pardon me on the numbers. We got the numbers last minute, so we're working up here.
It's all right. At least this is we're in the day and age. It's been that way for a while, but it's nice to be in the day and age where there is numbers.
And that one nearly fair. That one just curved just outside of that foul line over there in left field.
And who left the air conditioner fan on outside? It just blew it foul.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, because it literally curled at the last second. If it had gone straight down, that was inches from being fair. That's insane.
So that was Kayla Morris. She's got 32 hits for her senior season. She certainly knows how to put it in play. Chops that one to second, and they'll try to turn 2. Throw not in time, so it's going to be 1 down for Seminole.
And again, for Lake, I mean, they've done a decent job of keeping this game within 2 runs, and I think as we get into the later innings, that's going to be a huge thing because now that we're in a game where runs are hard to come by, that's going to be a huge deal if they can keep it close.
Ava Campanelli will capitalize. She'll be safe at first after the fielding error. And is Kayla Morris going to be safe? Looks like it. So 2 on base for Seminole.
That's going to be the thing here is can Seminole take advantage of getting runners on base? And for Lake, can you minimize the mistakes in this inning? They made a couple already. Can they kind of overcome that adversity and sort of figure a way through it here?
So 1 out down, 2 runners on. Rosales flies this one in the right shallow, can't make the play. So a runner's going to come home for Seminole. And a throw to third. So another mistake out in the fielding area. So that'll be an RBI single for Rosales.
1 runner gets home. So just as I say, keeping it within 2, it's now 3-0 Seminole County.
And we kind of saw this from them in the first game. They started to gradually pull away. And, this team, they see the ball well, and they can add up the runs quickly.
Well, and I think when you think of every county, I believe, in the state of Florida always has their gemstone of players or that one team we just got an update. There were 2 runs that were scored.
So there. 2 runs to make it
4-0.
4-0, okay.
But as I was saying, but when you think of the Central Florida area, Orange and Seminole County are the 2 counties that I think they've got so many different schools and so many different players that can give you what you need any given point in any sort of game, and it's pretty impressive. But to have 4 different counties represented here for this Cure All-Star tournament is a great thing to see for the area of Central Florida here.
So Kayla Morris picked up a 2 RBI double. 2 RBI single, excuse me. As she steals second. And, yep, she'll be safe.
Yeah, and I think Seminole they're starting to figure it out again. They took it took them that second inning they just couldn't quite get anybody home, but this third inning they're starting to look like how they did in that first inning again.
Rihanna Hudson takes a strike.
Maybe just the odd innings are is going to be what they're good at tonight. Who knows? You've seen teams do that throughout these Cure All-Star games. It's whether it's a quarter or an inning or a whatever. That's just how they are.
So a good hit there for Alexis Williamson. And another run comes home for Seminole. So 5-0 Seminole. Exactly what we saw in the first game from them. They got a 5-0 lead, and they didn't look back.
Yeah, and I think you can't really – it just took a weird slide and bounce back towards the pitching circle. And, as a pitcher, you just got finished with your move to throw the pitch, and when a ball comes back at you that quickly, it can be hard to navigate it. But I just think it just took a weird bounce, no fault of the pitcher on that one. It's just Seminole has found a groove in this third inning, and they are taking advantage of everything that Lake is giving to them. And sometimes when the avalanche falls, it's very hard to stop it.
So Miranda Murch has already given up 5 runs in the circle. And here's a pop fly to left from Rihanna Hudson. So a lot of damage has been done with 2 outs down.
That ball is still rolling. I got on it's not asphalt, concrete path, and just kept going. Wonder where it went. I wonder if it made it to the parking lot.
I don't know. Someone's going to go get it. Oh, yep, they're going to get it.
I was going to say.
Love the contribution here from the fans and the family members.
You see that a lot at softball games. Whenever a ball is fouled off or it's a home run, whether it's a kid or a parent or whoever, those balls get returned so fast.
Usually the kids, they love it. It's part of the baseball culture. Go get that foul ball.
Oh, yeah.
1-1 pitch for Hudson. And that's for strike 2.
It's fun watching him run after it because it's like when you watch a greyhound race and they have the little fake animal at the front that they have to go run after. And they just go after it. Yeah, the little rabbit. Thank you, Mr. O. That's our producer getting in my ear telling me what I was trying to say.
So Hudson flies that one away behind us for a foul.
Just made me think of the Trick cereal commercial. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I don't know. I swear I'm awake, guys.
Yeah. Miranda Murch trying to get out of this here. 1-2 count. 2 outs down. Runner on third. And that one too high upstairs. That'll be for ball 2.
Yeah, the momentum it looked like it was switching back to Lake County, but it is definitely all Seminole here in this bottom of the third.
Good battle here between Hudson and Murch.
And that can be another thing, too, when you get in these long at-bats. If you can get out of it as a pitcher, it's really satisfying. But if the batter ends up getting on base, whether by walk or a hit or whatever, it can stink if you're the pitcher because you do all that work just to have the batter still reach base.
That one pops up fly near the shortstop. Easy routine out to close the frame. So 5-0 Seminole with a comfortable lead, similar to what we saw in the first game earlier today. We'll take a break. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation from Merrill Park. This game is flying.
Welcome to softball.
Yeah.
I've only had one softball game that was like high scoring that took forever.
Want one?
Sure. Thanks.
Welcome back to Merrill Park. And leading off for Lake County is going to be Jasmine Lawrence as we get set here for the top of the 5th. Excuse me, top of the 4th. Appreciate that, Conrad.
No problem.
And what's the call on the field?
I'm confused there. I thought.
Looks like I guess she's safe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So Jasmine Lawrence safe at first. Here's Soraya Espada. It's been a few times we didn't know what the call would be, or we just kind of got confused, but, bear with us.
Well, sometimes it can be hard because sometimes you'll look at a play point blank and think, oh, that's, the routine call, or that's what it's supposed to be, or that's what this, and then it goes a different direction. And it's like, wait, I thought this person was out, but it just happens sometimes.
So the 0-2 pitch for Espada. Throw to second. And she's safe. So Espada survives, still at bat. Good base running by Jasmine Lawrence.
Got Alexis Williamson in the circle for Seminole County.
Yep. 2-2 pitch, line drive to center, and that one's going to fall for a base hit. Throw to third, not in time.
Close, though.
Jasmine Lawrence going to be safe, 60 feet away. Good hit by Espada. And that'll bring up Mawissa Weaver up to bat next out of Southlake High School.
We got a courtesy runner, it looks like, coming in for Lake County at first base. Yeah,
It's going to be Layla Suzea coming in for first.
Yeah, Alexis Williamson, decent season, 8-3 as a starter this year with 23 appearances. Last win came against LBHS back on May 15th where they won 10-7. But was responsible for 63 strikeouts this season.
Wow, that's a lot. Here's Marissa Weaver. Take strike one. Weaver bunts that one, gets it down, throw to first in time, but a runner does come home. A runner is safe at second as well.
And that's big time if you're Lake County. It's taken a minute to get to pay dirt, but sometimes with certain teams, it only takes one. And I think, the game Orange against Seminole, if it wasn't a timed game, Orange County was making a charge back, so we'll see if Lake can take advantage of getting some runs in here.
And Nevaeh Parra pops that one fly for the routine out. 2 down for Lake. So it's good that they're finally able to get on the board, but just like that, they're 2 outs down. So let's see if they can, see what they do here with a runner in scoring position at second. Here's Lauren Terhune out of Umatilla at the plate. She had 10 hits on the season. She's looking for number 11 here, if you're still counting stats in the All-Star game.
Oh, it still counts. It's a sanctioned event, and
yeah,
these players are competing hard, and
it's a game of evaluation.
Oh
too,
yeah,
I mean,
we talked about that in in the baseball games that we called at Lake Brantley High School and up in Sanford, wrong S.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these kids, I mean, you look at them, if that's the last little bit of film you need to go to the next level, if you have not gotten a scholarship yet or a school hasn't looked at you, this is the time to do it. And a lot of these players tonight that we've seen through 3 2/3 innings thus far, Anyway, top of 4 innings we've seen thus far. My math was not mathing. We've seen some good stuff on both sides.
2-2 count for Terhune. That one upstairs for ball 3.
I was giving innings pitched.
Yeah, you were knee-deep into some stats and numbers.
I was.
I couldn't save you.
No, you couldn't.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I dug my own grave on that one.
Full count for Terhune. And that one for the easy out. A floater near first, so that'll close the frame. 5-1, Lake County finally on the board. Seminole up next to bat. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Merrill Park, bottom of the 4th. Seminole at the plate. Here's Addison Martindale. Seminole with a 5-1 lead here. They've done most of their damage early. We'll see what they do here in the bottom frame of the 4th.
Oh, their best innings have been the first and the third. So if they can get runs here in the 4th, it'll break the, I guess, even inning curse in this game. But that's been the thing that Lake has had the advantage is they've done better in those even innings. But we'll see.
It's been a bit of a struggling night for Miranda Murch in the circle out of Montverde, but she's still out there. She's seen a lot of softball, and she's played in some really tough and big games. You know, Montverde with an impressive 2024-25 season, 27-3.
That's a dominating. That's a dominating campaign.
Yeah. Montverde had an early exit in the 2A state playoffs. Still impressive season though. 27 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a way you want to go off as a senior, and that's what Murch is doing.
That reminds me. The team that's talked about all the time. Let's see the play here.
And that one falls into shallow center for a base hit. Addison Martindale with a nice single.
Well, the team I always think of, now granted they've been blasted on ESPN all the time because they're that good, has been, you think of OU softball.
Oh, yeah. Powerhouse.
Every year it's like they're under the radar good. I can't explain it. Like they do their thing every year. They get to the playoffs, and it's like, oh, OU softball, blah, 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 and then it's like they're just that good.
And here's a cheap hit from Conway, and she'll be out at first for the easy out. And up next to bat is going to be number 10, Lexi Bedowich. Batted .481 on her senior year. And she had 7 home runs this season. And we're still looking for our first home run of the night. Really, of all the all-star events between baseball and softball, we haven't had one yet. We almost had one, but
yeah. That's what I said.
Blue said otherwise.
We as I said, we had one on a technicality.
Yeah,
we'll say that. I just saw something the other day for college baseball. There was history made. The first team ever across any division, whether it was NAIA or NCAA, LSU Shreveport became the first college baseball team
59-0
to have an undefeated season and win the national championship.
Yeah, that was remarkable.
They had 2 or 3 games this season where they scored 30 runs or more.
Yeah. That's efficient.
Very. Yeah, 59-0. They played the Southeastern Fire out of that team out of Lakeland.
0-2 count. Good swing here in the shallow right, but that'll be an easy out for Lake County. So 2 down. And up to bat, it's going to be number 9, Anna Roman.
Always love a good night game when the lights are on, and it's just something magical about a night game. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's fun to see these games under the lights.
Roman with 40 hits this season. A runner in scoring position at second, Martindale.
Ooh.
And a hit by pitch, so she will take her base, and she seems to be okay as she trots to first.
Yeah, I luckily have never taken a softball or a baseball to the back.
I'm sure it doesn't feel good, whichever one it is.
No, but I think for some of these players, I don't know if they're just used to it or if they just don't care, but some of them, they just get hit. It's like, okay.
It's a badge of honor.
I'm going to go take my base now.
Here's Alondra Malinato. Chips that one foul.
I know there was going back to college baseball, there was a team, I can't remember the team, but they actually took pride in getting hit by pitch. Yeah. I think the team as a whole at the point in the season when they were looking, I don't know if this was last year or this year. I think it was last year. They had like over 50 hit by pitches. It was crazy.
And a routine throw to first for the easy out. And that'll close the frame. 2 runners stranded for Seminole, but they still lead 5-1 here as we get set for the top of the 5th. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation from Merrill Park High School. We'll take a break. Welcome back to Merrill Park. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volsch on the call here for the 2025 All-Star Game, for the Cure All-Star Game. We love doing this event. Leading off for Lake County, Lillian Land out of East Ridge. And Seminole with a commanding 5-1 lead. Lake County trying to add to it to try to trim down this deficit. And a big swing there for Lake County.
Well, and that was the key thing is, like I said in the top of the fourth, is sometimes if you're Lake County, sometimes all it takes is one, but the most important thing is they didn't allow any more runs in the bottom of that fourth. And I think now it's just a matter of, okay, we stifled the offense for that bottom of the fourth. We need to keep scoring, whether it's one run here, a couple runs there. We got to go. And I think you can't get all of it back in one swing, but at least try to start taking control of momentum and give yourself a chance.
Here's Danica Spinogatti, fouls that one away. Alexis Williamson in the circle for Seminole. We've seen some pretty impressive hitting tonight, but also some pretty solid defense. A couple of errors here and there, but it's been competitive nonetheless.
Yeah, and errors are going to be inevitable in a game like this where you've got multiple people from different schools coming together to play. But, I mean, the head on a swivel plays we've seen when the girls at first or third base have to make a split-second decision has been pretty good.
2-2 pitch for Spinogatti, and good eye for ball 3.
Full count. I feel like we haven't seen too many of those today. I don't know if I just haven't noticed it, but
I think we've had one.
But haven't seen too many,
so
at least in this game.
Payoff pitch pays off for Spinogatti. She'll head to first. And up next is going to be Lillian Land. 494 batting average. You never know, at some point, Lake County, and it could be in this frame, they just get a surge and they put a bunch of runs on the board. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing with softball, is it being a smaller field and a smaller room to work. I mean, it can have
easily come back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. 1-1 pitch for Land, and that'll be for ball 2.
That's one of the biggest exciting things about softball, is because the dimensions are smaller, you have to be so precise and so on point with everything that one little mistake can either lead to that third out or it's sneaking through a defense and 2-run scoring.
So Land making contact, but just unable to put it in play yet. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner on first. Line drive in the gap, and they get the out at second, unable to turn 2.
Tough deal there for the batter, but sometimes that's just how the ball falls in it. But good on the defense there for Seminole to prevent a run from getting into scoring position.
Yeah, good awareness on defensively from Lexi Beldowich, shortstop. Up to bat now is Layla Suzea, Montverde Academy. 35 hits her senior year. There's another one. This one's not going to be in time to first. She's going to be safe. So 2 outs down now.
Haven't had the double play, but again, preventing the runners from getting to second is
crucial.
Is huge, absolutely.
Good defense here from Seminole. So here's Miranda Murch. Another Montverde Academy representative. Put this one in the gap for a base hit and a single. So now 2 runners on for Lake County. Another chance to put some runs on the board here.
Yeah, and like I said, last inning, sometimes all it takes is one, but little different circumstances here in the top of the fifth with it being 2 out and runners on first and second. But sometimes we've seen it in baseball, and I've seen it some in softball at different levels. Sometimes, for whatever reason, offenses just get better when they're down to their last out.
Jasmine Lawrence hits that one to center, but that'll be an easy routine out to close the frame. So 2 stranded for Lake County. Once again, unable to trim that deficit down. 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the fifth. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. So that is actually going to be the ball game. Seminole wins it 5-1. The game is timed. All the games today were timed for an hour and 30 minutes. So Seminole survives. They get convincing wins in game 1 and game 2 here in the championship game. Conrad, your final thoughts for this one? What did you like?
Yeah, I liked the defenses from both sides. I liked despite the loss, I liked what Lake County brought to the table. Even when they gave up those 2 runs in the first, they were able to protect home plate for the last couple of outs there. But, throughout every all-star game that we've gotten to cover here on VSN, we've seen really good competition, especially tonight. Saw 3 different pitchers from both teams, and, great stuff on defense and on offense. But more specifically, Seminole County, their biggest thing, going back to the first game against Orange and now this game, getting that hot start and taking control early was the difference in their first game against Orange and in this championship game against Lake.
Yeah, we saw Seminole get out to a 5-0 lead in the first game against Orange County. Orange County is obviously loaded with talent. They had the biggest roster in today's event for sure. But nonetheless, your 2025 Cure All-Star champions are going to be the Seminole side, and it's always great to do this event. It's good that we see the competition high out on the diamond, and it's great to see. But nonetheless, it's all about continuing to raise awareness and honor those who are fighting against cancer, or those who lost their lives against cancer as well. We have friends and family members from far in between. That we're all impacted. So we love doing this event. Varsity Sports Nation is your exclusive home for the Cure All-Star football game, softball, flag football, baseball. We love doing this event. Jared Oliver here on the call, Conrad Volch. Seminole puts 5 runs on the board. They get it done here in the bottom of the first and 3 runs in the bottom of the third. They win 5-1 is your final. And that'll do it for us here at Varsity Sports Nation at Merrill Park High School. Have a good night.